Hello everyone, and welcome to my third documentary on the objects in Indiana Jones, artifacts that Indiana Jones held during his games, films and book adaptation. Today we're going to talk about something that was very prominent in the Fate of Atlantis and which was used many times by Indiana Jones. He held many of these things in his hands constantly, so it has to be part of this documentary series. What we know about these objects is purely theoretical. Only one instance has been found where these objects were actually created and discovered by people, and that is the only time that they were ever shown in museums or in documentaries. So bear with me. These objects have also been used in various little artifacts in Indiana Jones: The Fate of Atlantis. And from what I've seen from the objects in which they were used, they have no actual historical or archaeological connection to anything. So that's why I am going to avoid making videos directly only about those objects, and I'm going to just make a documentary about this particular little object that is inserted in them. So if you know the Fate of Atlantis, you might have already guessed what this is. It's Orichalcum. Orichalcum is supposed to be a powerful metal. It's described in Plato's dialogues as something that the gods created and gave to the humans, and basically taught the humans how to create themselves. And it made Atlantis the superpower that it was at the time. In the descriptions of the dialogue of Plato, he literally described it as Orichalcum, which translated from Greek is a copper alloy. So basically it's a mix of copper with something. It's not a magical object or powerful magical metal never seen before. But what was very interesting about this is that how Plato described it was that it had a glowing red feeling, and it was very interconnected with gods. And that the temple at the top of Atlantis to Neptune was covered in this, plated in this metal. And from how he describes it, it looked like it had electrical capabilities, which is quite common with copper. But imagine the thing that we have about Orichalcum is that apart from being a power source and being mythical, is that recently in the town of Gela in Italy, in Sicily, it was discovered that several bars of particular metal that no one discovered, no one found before, were found under the sea. And this metal was 75 to 80% copper, and the rest was zinc. And the interesting part about the zinc is that it was impossible to produce until just recently. So to produce it, it was dated 3,000 years ago. To produce it in such an early time, the Greeks wouldn't have been able to do it with machinery and technology and science they had. So, and also it conducts electricity a lot better than just copper, which kind of supports the point of Atlantis and Plato's dialogues about how this metal was special and had special properties according to gods, and the gods themselves that brought this metal to the earth when Atlantis was constructed. Another theory was also that this metal was brought in. Of course, you're going to start saying, oh no, please don't do this, but aliens might have brought it in. And the argument by scientists defined either way, as long as you watch it, and I hope some little part of you enjoyed this. Anyway, till next time, bye bye.